I'm Larry Kudlow. We're going to take a quick break here. Talk about the House side, whether they can vote a repeal quickly in July, as is being touted. We will have Nan Hayworth of Westchester County, one of the smartest House members. Our contact is 888-583-5692. I tell you, folks, this Supreme Court decision is very bad for growth. I'm Larry Kudlow. Be right back.
You're listening to The Larry Kudlow Show. Free market capitalism is the best path to prosperity. You're listening to The Larry Kudlow Show.
Brought to you by Sage. Turning numbers into knowledge your business can use. Download your free trial of Sage 50 at sagetoday.com/50. All right, let's talk some more about the House side of the Obamacare court decision. We bring in our great friend, Congresswoman Nan Hayworth, Republican of New York and Westchester County. Nan, thank you for giving us your time. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the schedule for repeal in the House. What can you tell us?
Well, it's a repeal vote is scheduled for Wednesday, July 11th, Larry, and it's not a symbolic vote. We are expressing the will of the American people. Your commentary just before the break was eloquent. It was spot on. It was right on. Irrespective of any constitutional issues, this is the wrong plan for the United States. It's the wrong plan for Americans. So we intend, once again, to express the will of the American people. And look, Larry, it's a year and a half on since we had the last repeal vote in January of 2011. The Senate ignored it. They should be feeling the hot breath of the American electorate on their necks at this point. God knows. So if they're wise, they'll vote to repeal as well.
It seems to me it ought to be a vote not on the constitutionality of it, but on the policy of Obamacare, and that policy includes gigantic tax increases and spending increases, Nan. This is fiscal stuff that's going to break the bank and stop the economy.
Well, Larry, that's exactly it. And I've been one of those who has said, as you just did, that essentially the 2010 health law is the number one fixable problem with our economy. It is the number one impediment to hiring that we could solve with the stroke of a pen. And that's so important. I've visited men and women in business around the Hudson Valley. In fact, I'm crossing the Hudson River right now between our, the two halves of a beautiful day in New York. And I spoke with one of our local businesses in Putnam County, and he listed all the ways that the federal government's incredibly heavy regulatory structures have kept him from growing and hiring, and we've got great people throughout the Hudson Valley and throughout the country who are ready to work, and we've got employers who want to hire them, but because of all the uncertainty and because of the negative certainty of the fiscal cliff that's coming, all the taxes, the mandates, the penalties that are coming, however you determine their constitutionality, they can't afford to hire because, you know what, they have to keep their doors open for the people who are working with them now.
When you write this repeal resolution for Wednesday, July 11th, Nan Hayworth, you're going to redefine it as a tax, right? Now it's no longer a penalty, it's a tax. The White House continues to use the word penalty, but we should all be calling it the tax. This is the Obamacare tax.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a massive... Yeah, well, exactly. We can call it the anchor, the dead weight on our economy. I mean, that's really what it is. It's a dead weight cost. It's unnecessary. We can provide for the goals of the law. They're great goals. Affordable, portable health insurance. Everybody has access to good, affordable care. Nobody's disputing that that's what we should all want to have happen. And the question is, how do we get there? And it is unfair to every American who wants to have and aspires to have and deserves a decent standard of living and deserves a job and the dignity of work to have this law hanging over their heads. It's just wrong, and that's what we intend to right.
You think with the additional definition now of tax, and with the weak economy, and with the other issues that you mentioned, for example, the Bush tax cuts may run out. Do you think you'll pick up Democratic support? This might be more bipartisan.
Larry, common sense tells us it should be. I can't imagine that our Democratic colleagues are not feeling the pressure. That we all know that since this administration took office, since the 111th Congress, the one before us, came into power, and they passed this law, they passed Dodd-Frank, they have assured that we will have the kind of anemic growth that will not sustain employment, which is why our unemployment has remained stubbornly at or above 8%, and that's just the headline unemployment rate for 40-plus months now. 24 million Americans underemployed or unemployed. We can make that better with a couple of strokes of the pen by assuring job creators that they're not going to be penalized for providing goods and services and succeeding.
I mean, I think the point, and I think this is the point that former Governor Romney has simply got to make. There is a link, Nan Hayworth, there's a link between the economic drag and the employment drag from Obamacare and
a complete link.
And the rest of the economy. These are not isolated events.
No. Not at all.
That was the whole problem. Obama instead of pursuing economic growth policies, he spent a year and a half promoting Obamacare, which was social policy that actually hurt the economy.
Larry, I agree, and there's a simple formula. More taxes equal less growth. It's just always the way it is. More taxes, less growth.
I agree. Boy, do I agree with that. Music to my ears. So tell me more about this vote. Are you going to hold a hearing before the vote? Will there be experts coming in before the vote, Ways and Means Committee and whatever other committees, or do you just gather it up and vote on Wednesday, July 11th?
Larry, I have not heard any further details about it. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that it's going to be a clean up or down vote because this has been thoroughly debated in so many ways within the term of this Congress. And of course, in the antecedent Congress, when the arguments against were eloquently made, they were simply ignored by the then House majority. And we have passed 29 pieces of legislation directly related to trying to mitigate the negative consequences of this bad law, trying to rein in the slush funds, trying to forestall the tax increases. We have been trying in every way we can to make sure that these issues are thoroughly addressed in actions we've taken heretofore, and we need to act promptly. We want to try to save this economy. Yep. Larry, it's that simple, and a repeal measure will provide an immediate boon to the economy.
All right,
the
great
American
stuff.
People have asked us to do that.
Nan Hayworth, Congresswoman from New York, Westchester County, thank you ever so much for giving us your time.